Bitcoin's really starting to surge again, right? So let's see if it passes that 44,000 level. But yeah, I'll leave that to you because Bitcoin, I'm telling you, I think we're going to see this thing really break through 44,000 this time if it does and go a lot higher.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it is. It bounced around the 40 mark, which is good to see as an investor in bullishness. But the big news was recently with Goldman Sachs. So Goldman Sachs and Galaxy Digital just completed the first transaction of a Bitcoin option. It's actually an NDO, Frank, and let me pull this up here. I wasn't even really familiar with, I know that banks trade over the counter and such, but the big takeaway here is Goldman is the first major Wall Street bank to do this. Galaxy Digital, who we've talked about a lot, run by Mike Novogratz, ex-Goldman partner, they facilitated an option trade in Bitcoin that was settled in cash. So it wasn't settled in the underlying asset. Details were light. They didn't talk about, I'm not sure if it was a Goldman trade for Goldman, if it was a Goldman trade for Goldman clients, but Galaxy Digital put the press release out. Goldman did, and they're going to hide out like they do and just try to maintain no exposure, which I appreciate, or attention. But this is huge because what I think about this is, and the quote from the Galaxy Digital people were saying, hey, this is it solidifies, it increases our partnership with Goldman, but they hinted at, hey, other banks are going to do this. What's the greatest form of flattery? Plagiarism. You think JP Morgan and all the other big banks are going to sit by and let Goldman do over-the-counter trades if it's all productive or profitable? Absolutely not. Everybody will pile into this. And Galaxy Digital is not the only player in the game, but I think they're going to be one of the major players in the game. I think this is the easiest option to we could timestamp this as a fun time and say, hey, if you bought Goldman Sachs, Galaxy Digital, and Bitcoin right here, we could kind of timestamps those over the next 6 months and a few years. I think that's huge because I think it opens up the floodgates. It shows you the desire for Wall Street to get more involved in crypto trading or derivatives, and it also shows that if Goldman's going to do it, everybody else on Wall Street will, in my opinion.
And this comes back to, and I know we had a back and forth on this with Biden's executive order, but Biden could have come out and said, we're not doing anything and, just made it cloudy. He didn't make it cloudy. He made it clear that he wants to encourage investment in cryptos. And that's what the big guys needed to hear because there's 250 trillion in assets under management. And these clients, you can read stories, just Google it. It's Financial Times, Wall Street Journal. These clients are demanding. They want to be in crypto. From a risk reward standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. This is where all the innovation is coming from right now, like pure innovation. And to see that, and now right away and you're saying, Goldman did announce this and put in a press release because
not yet anyway. Yes,
I mean this is a small thing for them, but don't get me wrong, because with us, we have press releases again for our Curzio Equity Owners Token, and say with T0, you always have to go to T0. You have to, if T0 is making an announcement, they'll come to us for response, or they'll say, "Is this okay?" Right. So that's usually normal when you have something going out that involves two companies, right? In the press release, you go back. So Goldman knew that this was coming out. It wasn't like they're trying to hide it or anything, but it represents the first step really that banks have taken, where they're offering that customizable exposure, right? That's what they're saying, right? It's to the crypto market on behalf of their client, right? So taking that off of what they're saying in that press release. It's a big deal. Galaxy Digital is over the counter, but they want to be on the NASDAQ. It's very tough. I mean, if you're looking at SPACs with crypto, they don't really want to touch crypto because the SEC keeps coming back and saying, there's no rules on it. They come back with tons of questions, and again, with us, we have, our security token traded. I mean, the goal is always to be, a New York Stock Exchange or a real publicly traded liquidity once we get that. Otherwise, the token makes ton of sense, right? But just to get to that and knowing how SPACs are looking for deals, which by the way, I'm going to tell you something about SPACs. The SPACs, what they do is they pool money together, they raise money, and not to get off to topic here, but they raise money, and then they have usually 12 months. Sometimes it might be extended depending if they want to pay more money as a holding company to find a company to buy, a private company to buy. That's been really hard in this environment, right? A lot of the companies have been bought, but that's what they're looking to do, right? So what happens is if they don't, they have to return the money back, but they don't return all the money back. The people who have the early investors in this SPAC who put it together will invest anywhere from I would say $5-7 million in total of, let's say, a $50 million SPAC. Now, they're going to lose that money unless they find an idea. So they're trying to find ideas, which is, and can't disclose anything, but and why I know this, but they're trying to find any idea because it doesn't even matter. They're in at $1 or $2, right? So this is going to come out at 10, even goes to 5. They're out there making a fortune. That's what SPACs are about. That's why Chamath is bailing any. The SPAC said he's come out with, he's bailing any of them. He made an absolute fortune, promoted them. They come out absolute top. You look, those SPACs are all down 80%. He's gone. He's out, right? And that's what he does. And good for him because he can get away with it because there's a lot of stupid people out there that believe him and believe that, he provides value to these things and they're going to go higher. And he talks about this whole thing. My point is in Bitcoin, they're coming at Bitcoin related companies and security token related companies. And, when they went through the due diligence process, the SEC has come back with tons of questions, especially, it wouldn't be questions with our security token structure because it's very pure, it's a good structure, and it's a security token, right? So it's the cap table, everything's set. But some of these other ones are going from utility tokens to security tokens to try to get that money in the SPAC and get that $50 million, right? Mm-hmm. And the guys are happy with that because now they're not going to lose $3, $4, $5 million. They're going to set $1 or $2 and they could sell it. But my point is, there's a lot of SPACs out there. A ton of SPACs out there that are dying, that are about to expire, basically. And they're dying to do deals, which means anytime you see a deal come up, a SPAC deal from here on in, do everything you can to short it. Just do everything you can to short it. They're buying the company out because they think it's great and all. They're going to have this whole road show. They're going to try to get as many people in there. They're doing it because they have to. They don't want to lose the money because they're in at $1 or $2. You're going to see that thing go from wherever it comes out, 10, 11, it may hold and it's going to absolutely crash. But be careful of SPAC deals coming out. Not everyone. They might find a really good company out there, but there's a lot of SPACs looking because that clock is ticking right now. But that's what's going on with, you see it within, again, trying to go after crypto companies and stuff. I didn't want to go too much off topic there, but when you're looking at what's happening with Bitcoin, what's happening with crypto, the gains that we've seen in the past are nothing compared to the gains we're going to see in the future. Is there a lot of shit out there? Absolutely. Absolutely. But crypto is here. The institutions are late to the party. They have trillions. If any one of you out there, I know some people like the we want centralized government. We want nothing involved. We want zero laws. If those are the same people that own Bitcoin and are holding on to it forever because they think it's going to go to 100,000, 500,000, a million. It's not going to get there without trillions of money coming into it. It can't. The math doesn't work. The only way to happen is for institutions to be able to come into this market, which is now the U.S. is pro-crypto. Now we know they're pro-crypto. Yes, there's going to be regulation. Know your money's safe and real legal activity and stuff like that. That is a really big deal in this industry. You're going to see a lot of the best play, even outside the U.S., come into the U.S. This is where the money is. They can have projects here. It's really exciting times for crypto. It is here. Institutions want it, and all the innovation, like I said. Facebook changed its name to Meta, right, for the metaverse. Metaverse flows through crypto. Okay, that's where it's going to flow. Decentraland, Sandbox, there's others coming out. Much, much better technology, amazing technology than even those two. That you'll see in our crypto intelligence newsletter, but there's just a lot of, you're looking at security tokens, you look at NFTs. These are innovations, right? DeFi, this is changing industries. And just to see Goldman getting in now, right? And you're going to see announcements like this, Daniel, over and over and over again. It's really exciting times. I'm not saying Bitcoin can't go to 30,000 or 25,000. I know in 5-10 years, it's going to be incredibly higher, and it's going to be a spillover into so many great cryptos, and the ones that are focusing on those trends are going to be absolutely enormous. And venture funds are piling into this thing. You're seeing more and more money going into this. Is a sector that's here. It's for real. And you should have exposure to it. You need exposure to this, even if you're risking a small part of your money, because the gains could be 10x, 100x. That's where we're seeing this industry if you get it right. And the fact that you can get in at something at cheap levels is really, really exciting. Just to see this announcement and see how far we've come, and now Goldman's getting, to me, it's awesome. And you're just going to see, I think the floodgates are open right now, and you're going to see a lot more money to come in. So not to rant and go on and on, but it's something I'm really excited about, being in this industry. Yeah,
that's a great point. This was the first on the trade. So that's the first major bank to make a trade in this type of non-deliverable option. Like I said, it's settled in cash instead of the underlying asset over the counter. Yep. That's a big deal. The press release from Galaxy talks about how Goldman wants to continue. They did option trades last year. So, yeah, you're right. Institutions want to get in. There's massive amounts of money to be made. And
not
the little guy.
It's the clients of the institutions.
Right. Well,
that's a big deal because those clients will go elsewhere.
To disagree a little bit, not JP Morgan, but Goldman wants in. Goldman wants to make a lot, or at least I think
they all want to make money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They want to make money, but their clients are going to go to, if they're not getting that exposure, they're going to go someplace
Absolutely.
else.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
I agree
they don't
with
want
that.
to lose those assets in the management, and that's why you saw huge lobbying dollars going behind. Out of nowhere. Did you see the daylight saving time thing? Did you see that? The daylight savings?
About the passage of trying to get rid of it?
The Senate passed, and now they ex-Biden, and this goes to what I'm saying here. in terms of lobbying and stuff like that. So, and which sucks is it makes sense on every freaking level, right? Everybody wants it. Everybody wants it, right? Just get rid of it. It's useless. It was for World War II to save money, electricity. It's stupid, right? So now it came out, the Senate voted yes, and now it goes to the House, but they asked Biden, he didn't comment on it. So Biden didn't comment on it because he has to see the polls of what people want and what the people who voted for him, which sucks, right? So when I can't stress that point enough, like he can't come out on a fly and say, this is bullshit, we got to change this thing. I mean, that's something that Trump would do and get himself in trouble with his party. He would never ever do that. No, he can't say anything. He'll say it after he talks to everybody and have the line say, okay, yes or no. Yeah. But the lobbying dollars that have gone into making sure that this announcement was made, we have to go pro crypto, we need to do it, or you're going to lose this. Other countries are going to be happy to get these trillions of dollars.
Yep.
So let's set up a framework that works for everybody. And I'm glad that's happening. And that's really going to open up the floodgates because you're going to see tons of money come into a lot of great situations. And and I think it's really good times.
Yep. I know we say a lot of the, our job here is to say the similar thing or the same thing different ways, especially on great topics like this. But as an individual investor, I mean, just keep scaling in or start and gain exposure right away. Don't take all your assets in, but, I've talked about been buying different stocks over time, especially Galaxy Digital, and it's frustrating when things are going down. But if your thesis doesn't change, keep scaling in to your position size, and you just definitely want to have exposure to this. Don't continue to watch all these developments and say, oh, I should have put money into this without putting a little bit in.